Dr. Joseph Zume. I am a professor of geoscience here at Shippensburg University.
And can you tell me a little bit about your background, what you study, what you teach?
Yes, I am a broadly trained scientist. I have backgrounds in physics. My undergraduate degree was in physics, a master's in applied geophysics, and then I became a geographer at the doctoral level with concentration in groundwater hydrology. And I couple my studies, groundwater studies, with climate. I do a lot of climate groundwater modeling to look at the impact of climate change on groundwater resources.
Okay. And how does groundwater, I have to admit, a lot of my climate change studies have to do with the atmosphere and rain and all that. How is groundwater affected by climate change?
Because, you know, all our water sources on Earth are recharged by water coming from the atmosphere, right? And so groundwater depends on infiltration or rainfall. So when rain falls, part of that rain runs off. We get runoff, and then part of that infiltrates underground and continues all the way to recharge groundwater. So with climate change, there are projections about some places becoming wetter than normal, and then some places becoming drier than we're used to. And so in those places that we're getting drier, that is recharge, that is being lost. So groundwater will become depleted. But then also, when you look at the impact of urbanization, where urban areas are increasing with increasing impervious surfaces like parking lots, walkways, as they increase, that means that when rain falls, water runs off very quickly through those surfaces instead of infiltrating to recharge groundwater. And so with climate change and the projected increase in the frequency and intensities of storm events, it means you'll be getting a lot of runoff at the expense of infiltration. So even in wetter environment, groundwater levels may be impacted. We'll begin to see groundwater levels go lower and lower as runoff increases in urban areas at the expense of infiltration.
Okay, and so can you tell me a little bit about this Pennsylvania, I forget the name, was it a climate task
Climate
force?
Leadership Academy.
Yeah.
Yes, the Pennsylvania Climate Leadership Academy is recently established, and it is an institution that is meant to train policymakers. So local government managers, infrastructure executives, even political office holders. It's about to create climate change literacy. But there is no better place to start to have the effects trickle down than to begin with those that are managing government agencies, infrastructure outfits, and so on, so that that knowledge then will be passed down to the households, because the impacts of climate change are real. We're beginning to see more intense storms. We're seeing flooding like what happened in Europe recently. The reality is there. And what we need is for everybody to build that climate change or that climate literacy. And this is what the Leadership Academy is about. But it will begin by training those that are making policies at the government level, in the private sector, in the business community.
That's really great. Do you have anything on the calendar or anything planned to kind of start some of that literacy?
There are short courses that are already being designed, but I am not the right person to talk about those. There is someone that is directing that. Those of us who are drafted to be on the advisory board, we're going to be helping, like myself, with expertise in climate. I teach weather and climate here at Shippensburg University. I do climate research, and you have other experts from different backgrounds who are on the advisory board who will be providing the strategic direction to this academy. But already there are short courses that are produced, and if you go to the website, you will see that courses are ready for people to start taking.
That's really cool. What do you hope happens? What do you hope comes from this?
Oh, it is exciting that Pennsylvania is already taking very serious steps towards combating climate change. At the county level, like in Cumberland County, I am also on the Cumberland County Planning Commission. And in our last meeting, which was last week, Thursday, we looked at a climate action plan that has been drafted. And many counties across the state are already drafting their climate action plan. That is the beginning of the conversation. And very soon, I hope to see at the household level, we will have some, just like the IPCC, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, which is the UN body that is coordinating this climate change study. They have summary for policymakers. I would want to see us have summary for households so that people know very little, call it baby steps, that they can take to reduce the impact of climate change, to reduce the carbon footprint at the household level. So this academy is going to do just that. Eventually, it will educate people, ordinary people, so that they know that whatever step they take to reduce the impacts of climate change will go a long way.
Yeah, and I apologize. Did you say, are you located in Franklin County or Cumberland County?
I'm in Cumberland County.
Okay, are you seeing impacts of climate change in Cumberland County?
Everywhere, everywhere, the whole of Pennsylvania. You see, when the IPCC makes projections, there are global climate models that are being run, and they are looking at different regions broadly. And even here in Cumberland County, you begin to see intense storms, like just last Thursday when we were supposed to meet, right? We were not talking about tornadoes in this area, but now you went off to cover, tornado warning. And so we're beginning to see things like this, and it relates directly to the warming climate, which is going to really increase the kinds of storms that we get here, and impacts on agriculture, impacts on sea levels, and all of that are being projected.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want people to know about climate change, about educating themselves or our lawmakers on climate change?
Definitely. Education is important. I know that there are still a lot of climate change skeptics there, but I want everybody to understand that these projections that are being made, they are based on pure science. As a teacher of climate science, I am looking at the data. We have lots of evidence to talk about change. You have to look far back, and we have the ability to look back at least 2 to 3 million years back, because nature stores its own information. We have information stored in seafloor sediments, in the glaciers, in Arctic and Antarctic ice sheets. We have information in coral reefs, information in tree rings, and all of that. So when we put those together, and then we take models, which are equations that represent reality, physical systems, we're able to project further. So everybody needs to understand that the impacts of climate change are happening already, and we need to take steps. Education is important, so don't discard it. The fact that you deny a problem doesn't mean the problem won't come to you. So we need education. Read a lot about climate change, listen to what the experts are saying, and take steps. It might be baby steps, such as turning off lights in your house when you're not there, using more energy efficient appliances in the home. All of those baby steps help to reduce the carbon footprint at the household level. And then globally, if only everybody would take action.
Yeah, I agree. And I appreciate you being an expert that will talk with me about this. I enjoyed our conversation. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Daniel.